Hi, I'm Rodney Lack. I'm a member of the Tennis Heritage Australia group, and I'd like to talk to you today about a fascinating discovery that has really blown me away over all these years that I've been collecting tennis memorabilia and looking around for items within the tennis community that should be preserved for future generations. This is a story that started about 5 years ago. It relates to an author of a book produced in 1912 by an Australian player at the time who used to write for a New South Wales newspaper called The Referee. And he also went on to write tennis magazine articles through the 1920s and even up into the 1930s. His name was Robert Kidston, and he was a fascinating character because he produced so much literature about how tennis in Australia developed and how the Australian teams were going overseas on Davis Cup tours, and obviously all the local players here knew about him, and he was quite an authority on the game. What was fascinating about Robert is I thought that perhaps somewhere you could get lucky and find a big chest of drawers full of photos, because he was also a pretty keen photographer. And only last year, and this is the point I'm coming to, is we found a fascinating book that turns out to be his book, his own personal copy, that he took with him all around the world for over 40 years, having players and tennis administrators signing it. Just think about this, that from 1912 to 1950, he caught up with some 250 people who signed the book. It includes 116 Davis Cup players from the absolute beginning in the 1900s through to the 1950s. It's got most of the US champions in it. It's got most of the Australian men's champions in it. So it's just a truly remarkable book. And the next slides that you see will just be some of the signatures. And some of them players that in this book are just, from an Australian perspective, are amazing, because it includes the Davis Cup team from 1907 that was the first outside England team to win, and that resulted in Davis Cup coming down to Australia in 1908. And so all through that period we had a lot of success. And then there are other players who won the Australian Championships and then went to World War I and sadly were killed there. So this book is an absolute testament to tennis history, not just Australian, because it's got so many wonderful signatures from UK Davis Cup players of the time, hence Wimbledon champions, French players like Suzanne Lenglen, Cochet, and the French Davis Cup teams, plus obviously a lot of Australian players whose signatures just don't appear anywhere else. So I hope you enjoy watching a few of the slides. Cheers.